Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? It is Thursday, Maundy Thursday in Holy Week. That Maundy comes from the Latin mandatum, which is the first word in the Latin reading of the scripture. A new command I give to you, that you would love one another as I have loved you, from the Gospel of John, Jesus' words to his disciples. Gives us the name for Maundy Thursday, which is when we observe Jesus washing his disciples' feet and celebrating the First Communion, the Eucharist. That is what Christians all around the world today will be celebrating and have for centuries. I've just been thinking this morning about capacity. Yesterday was a hard day for me. And even this morning I woke up with the strong temptation, temptation's maybe the wrong word, the strong pull towards a feeling of hopelessness and overwhelmedness. But I'm reminded of Jesus on the cross in the most extreme agony, hands and feet nailed, body hanging, drowning in his own blood in his lungs, and he sees his mother and is able still to be present enough to care for her, to direct John to go and care for his mother. Behold, woman, your son. Behold, your mother. That's amazing. Even to continue his mission, to be doing the work that he came to do while in the most extreme agony. A lot of us are in some kind of pain or suffering in this season. Again, to get some perspective, there are parts of the world that have been in pain for a long time. There's plenty of regions, countries, cities that have been suffering for decades, if not centuries. So we should understand that we're entering into a suffering that is more universal than maybe we would like to realize. I think here in the West we have a temptation to, as soon as there's any kind of widespread suffering, it must be a sign of Jesus' return. And hey, maybe it is. But there's been suffering going on elsewhere for years. So we enter into a wider expression of suffering. And I think in every season of suffering, there is an invitation. There may be many invitations for us, but one of the ones I've been thinking about today is this thing of Jesus on the cross, still caring for his mother, still continuing his work, still being present, despite the most extreme pain and agony. It doesn't take a lot of pain or agony for me to kind of move out, I think, of me and the core of who I am and end up in selfish pursuits of comfort that doesn't last. But I have, over the course of the last 10 years of my life, observed a progression in my capacity, a growth in my ability to suffer. I don't know if you can identify with that. Probably some of you can. So this will be my last video for the week. We'll be celebrating Good Friday tomorrow, and then reflecting on Saturday as we wait, and then celebrating the resurrection on Sunday. I would ask you to consider, how are you handling this suffering? How present are you in this pain? Do you rush to soothe it, to not feel it, to have nothing to do with it? Or are you present to it? I was talking with a friend whose marriage fell apart about a year and some ago, and he's spent all the last year alone and learning to be alone. And he said now in this season he feels quite prepared, but he knows many of his friends have never had to be alone or never had to be left with their thoughts, and it's been difficult. Consider just for a minute how you are handling the pain and suffering and discomfort. If you know that you're not handling it very well, you're allowed to extend grace to yourself. That's fine. There's no There's no room or need for condemnation or shame. It doesn't help you. It doesn't move you in the direction of growth. I like that. But wherever you are handling, however you're handling this suffering, whatever your coping mechanisms, whatever the things you find yourself doing, good or bad, I wonder if you can see the invitation to be more present within the pain, like Jesus on the cross, caring for his mother, continuing his mission. And maybe you can lean in a little bit to Jesus in this holy, special weekend and week, and expand your capacity somewhat. Lean into Jesus and ask him to give you his gifts, to be present in the pain, to let the pain transform you and produce good fruit in you. I'll be putting up a podcast later today with Tim Day, who is a remarkable Canadian thought leader in the realm of church and culture. And he said to me, it's like a lot of our institutions have been shaken, and some of our celebrity worship, celebrity pastor worship and other things like that are maybe being exposed as not being as robust as we need them to be in a season like this. So go and have a listen to that. It'll be on the podcast in 5 or 6 hours. You can get it on iTunes, Spotify, wherever. And have a listen to his thoughts just about finding the opportunity, finding the invitation in the middle of this hardship to let it be transformative for us and to grow our capacity to respond to those things that God is always inviting us to. But now, with this greater intensity and greater suffering, maybe it's a special time and moment for you to lean in. So, put your hand on your heart. This is what I did this morning when I was feeling quite overwhelmed. And I just said, Jesus, on the cross, you were still able to care for your mother, to continue your mission, despite the agony, the overwhelming trauma to your body, your soul, and your spirit, the loneliness, the shame. You stayed present. I need you to help me stay present too. Jonathan, you can learn how to be present in suffering. You can grow in the mind and life and likeness of Christ to be more present in pain and suffering. And what I can't handle, Jonathan, what you can't handle, Jesus can handle. And Jesus in me can handle. Can we play Uno? Yes, let's go and play Uno. Grace and peace to you, my friends. May you have a blessed weekend. May you enter into the observance of death, of fear that Good Friday offers us. I'll be teaching along with a handful of others from my church tomorrow night about 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you'd like to tune in, it'll be on the Catch the Fire Kitchener Facebook page. So just search Catch the Fire Kitchener on Facebook, like the page, subscribe to the notifications, and you'll get notified when we go live. And we'll be inviting everybody to enter into the pain, the grief, the mourning of Good Friday. All the more that we can celebrate the resurrection on Sunday. Grace and peace to you. I'll see you next week.